Ever pinch pennies all year for that one family vacation only to feel the budget blues afterwards? If so, I was just like you. After 3 vacationless years, I stumbled on credit card rewards travel and cracked the code to amazing vacations that I could actually afford.
Welcome to Wonderland on Points. In this podcast, you will discover how opening credit cards strategically can save you thousands on travel. We're not just dreamers anymore. We're 2 adventurous moms turning dreams into reality. Join us as we spill all the points and miles secrets.
And contrary to popular belief, you don't have to spend $1 million to earn 1,000,000 points. Traveling on credit card points isn't reserved for those with overflowing bank accounts. It's for everyday people like you and me, learning to turn routine expenses into free travel.
Consider us your points travel guides. This is Wonderland on Points. Let the adventure begin. Hey friends, welcome back to the show. We are so glad that you are with us today. We have on tap for today's episode an AMEX Gold REMIX. Did you like that joke?
This is not Wondering Wednesday. No air horns or remixes allowed. Actually, I loved that. I'm keeping it in. And this is a remix, and it's going to be a great episode because so much has changed since our AMEX Gold deep dive. We didn't want to wait a whole year to let you guys kind of get filled in on all of the changes. So we just figured this was a really good time to put it all out there for you.
Did you know, Joe, that the Amex Gold Deep Dive episode, that was episode 29 for us, if anybody wants to go back and listen, that's actually our #1 most listened to episode of all time. Amex Gold Deep Dive.
Wow, you guys. Thank you for that one.
So today we are going to remix, tell you all the updates for the Amex Gold Card, why it is still, and probably even more so, my #1 favorite points and miles card. That I am an Amex Gold girly. So we're going to dig into that. But before we do, Joe has exciting news because you just used points and miles to plan a birthday for your daughter. Last year, you used her birthday to go to Chicago on points. And now you're up in the ante a little bit.
We're going a little further. You know, she didn't want a party. She's turning 13 and
13 is huge, a teenager
13
now.
is a big deal. It's a big deal. And I was like, I think we should go somewhere. Now, I was really inspired by Emily from A Mom Explores because she took her daughter to Scotland for her 11th birthday, I think. And I was like, oh, if we could go to Europe. But it is just so hard when you only have a small amount and it's over a break and the costs coming back are always crazy and the flight times are so long. You really can't, for me, I don't want to squeeze that into like a 4-day, 5-day trip. So I looked domestically. I waited till Southwest had their big sale that they just had and I was combing around and I was like, you know what? We're going to go to California. And so we're going to San Diego is where I landed on eventually. First, we were going to go to Newport Beach in LA, but I put it out there to our followers and got a lot of great feedback. And San Diego was the winner. And I kind of jokingly was like, hey, if anyone has a guest of honor booking they want to share for this special occasion, I'll take it. And our incredible guest, Ben's Big Deal, reached out and said, hey, I've got one to share. And I was so just humbled and really emotional. I was like, this is so nice. This is so nice.
That
so
is. And that's going to make the birthday celebration even more special because it's not just getting to go to San Diego and getting to stay at the Manchester Grand Hyatt, which is going to be so cool. But to get to stay there as a guest of honor with Hyatt, which is basically meaning you're going to get all the globalist benefits, that's so cool.
Yes, I'm really excited about it. She's like been Googling what to do. And so it's a real good thing that this trip was on points and miles almost exclusively because the activities are in fact, a lot of the activities are going to be booked through Rakuten to get some Amex Gold points back.
Oh, yeah.
So
through Viator.
This is a perfect segue. Even Groupon through Rakuten you can do.
For sure.
So Yep. We're probably going to do some sea lion La Jolla Cove snorkeling in wetsuits. It's going to be freezing. I don't know why she wants to do that, but okay.
I can't wait. I can't wait to hear all about it. Can't wait to see your pictures. I have been to the Manchester Grand Hyatt, but I did not have really any status at the time that I went. So for you guys to go and have the globalist benefits through the guest of honor booking, can't wait to hear all about it. It's going to be amazing.
So
But
excited.
now let's turn our focus to the remix. Oh. I can't stop myself, guys. I am like dad jokes, only I'm like corny mom on steroids right now.
Is it
Okay.
coffee? It's not coffee. It's chai tea for you.
It's some kind of caffeine. I just worked out. I had my caffeine and I used my Dunkin' credit this morning, which we will get into for the AMEX
Hey.
Gold Card. So I guess I'm sugared up and ready
Mm-hmm.
to go.
Mm-hmm. Good job.
So first, let's talk about the AMEX Gold Card, what is not changing? So everybody heard a couple months ago now, the big thing is the annual fee went from $250 up to $325. So there was a $75
Boo.
increase. All right, I hear ya. I hear you, boo. I hear you booing over there. But I think it's worth it. And we're going to make
I
a case
agree.
for why it's worth it. But first, what is staying the same? If you really want to dig into all the benefits of this card, our episode 29, the Amex Gold Deep Dive that we mentioned, is still very relevant because
Yes.
really none of the benefits have changed in terms of what you get. What has changed is a couple of added credits to
Mm-hmm.
offset that increased $75 fee. So you're still going to earn 4 times points at restaurants. The only change here, slight change, doesn't affect most people, is that the points earning is capped after $50,000 in eligible purchases at restaurants. So that's like if you're spending a little over $4,000 a month at restaurants, your points are going to get capped. However, my budget is not 4K a month for restaurants, and probably yours isn't either. So that really only affects the biggest spenders. And if that
Yep.
is you, maybe through work, maybe you get reimbursed for a lot of meals through your work and that kind of thing, switch over to Player Two's card at that point. Or maybe you start using another card like your Chase Sapphire Preferred that earns 3 times points at restaurants. So if you max out that one, then hey, you're doing real good with points. And there's other cards you can switch to at that point.
Absolutely. And you do still earn 4 times the points at grocery stores, which I think is our favorite. I know it's my favorite. I am a little bummed that this one's capped at 25,000 and the restaurants are capped at 50. I kind of wish that was switched. I spend
Yeah,
a
true.
lot more at grocery stores than at restaurants. But $25,000 a year,
Yeah, that's a little over $2,000 a month on groceries.
yeah, that's a lot.
Again, you might have 2 people in your family that have Amex Gold cards, right? Player 1 and Player 2. And so then you have twice that. Or at that point, switch over to one of your other cards with a multiplier. So that is capped, but at least we still do have 4 times points at grocery and restaurants, which is one of
Yes.
the major reasons we love this card.
I mean, really, it's between those two things and the next thing we're going to mention. That's why I would always keep this card and always pay this fee over and over and over again. It's so good.
Yeah, for sure. So the next thing that is still the same is you can still earn points with Rakuten. So we love the Rakuten shopping portal. You can earn cash back through Rakuten, but if you have an Amex card, you can earn Amex membership rewards points, which, as we know with the points and miles world, all of it is based on the fact that you can get more value and ultimately, yeah, it's like getting more cash back. If instead of getting cash back, you get it as points that can then be used with transfer partners for travel. So you can still use Rakuten, which is awesome.
Yeah, and I would love to pause here for a little story time about Rakuten. A lot of people have trouble conceptualizing why it is better to get things back at Amex points and not the cash back. So I have the perfect story for you. So from my last 2 PetSmart shopping trips, one which I managed to capitalize on the 20%, which is amazing. I'm so
Love
glad I
that.
happened to see that day. Especially because I have to spend this money on my pets anyways. And then the other one was a 10% Rakuten offer. So one of them, the big one, was $64.70 cash back. One of them was $18.55 cash back. In points, you guys, that is 6,470 points and 1,855 points. And let me just explain to you why this is so much more valuable than the cash back. I booked a flight actually, I'm not going to tell you where because we're going to talk about it at the end. But I booked a flight using Amex points that I could transfer to a partner. And that flight was about 7,500 points. Okay. I had 8,300 roughly, that's rounding up, points from just these 2 PetSmart things. And the flight cash price that I paid 7,500 points for it was $413.
No.
So, yes. So I could have chosen $83 in cash back or my roughly 8,300 points and use them to get a $400 flight.
That is awesome.
This is why we take the points.
This is why.
And you can't take the points if you don't have the Amex card to plug into it, which is another reason why that annual fee is like, oh, that's annoying. But that annual fee is still even less than the cost of the flight that I would have booked. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's offset by all the other stuff we're going to talk about. So anyways, I had to pause for story time there.
This is so why good. Shopping portals are worth it. You have to buy your pet's food anyway, period. You have pets that you love. You got to feed them. That's just free money that would have been you back in your pocket by using a shopping portal.
And I'm not great at the shopping portal like you are. Like I am not on top of it, checking it all the time. But if I know that like an elevated category is out there and it's something I have to buy and I jump on it, I'm always like very pleased that I did.
I love that. I love that you got a whole flight for just feeding your pets for like 2 months.
Yeah.
Love
crazy.
It. Okay, so Rakuten, if you needed a clue to start up, now you got it. So we can send you a referral for that too, because when you sign up through a referral, a lot of times you get like $30 free, and the person who refers you gets some free dollars. So please seek out a referral. Don't just sign up without one. Back to the Amex Gold and the things that you get. With the AMEX Gold Card that really haven't changed. You still get all the same trip protections, trip delay insurance, baggage insurance, car rental insurance. You get purchase protection for big purchases you make. We really dug into all of that on our previous Amex Gold episode. So please go listen to that episode so you can be really familiar with your benefits.
Yeah, I'm going to link it in the show notes to make it really easy for you guys to find.
Okay, also the same, transfer partners, although there is a little caveat we're going to get into at the end, but you still have all the same great transfer partners that you had before, and you still have access to Amex offers, which should not be overlooked. Just like a shopping portal, Amex offers shouldn't be overlooked because they can stack with a shopping portal like Rakuten. So keep that in mind. Those are all the things that have stayed the same. Awesome. The biggest change, like we mentioned, was an $75 increase in the annual fee. So let's talk about why that's not such a big deal. Before, the annual fee was $250, and there were $240 worth of monthly credits that offset that fee. All but $10 was offset with credits. You still have those same $240 worth of credits. However, now you have extra credits that actually make the value of all the credits $424. So the fee is $325. The credits add up to $425. This is a money maker card now. You make almost $100 free a year by having this card. So that is why you should not be afraid of this annual fee at all, as long as you can use the credits. And we're going to dig into
Yes.
what the credits are.
Absolutely. So some of them you will recognize, but some of them are new and pretty fun. So the ones that you'll recognize, we still have $120 in Uber Cash, which is $10 monthly. And the slight change is that you have to have the Amex Gold as a payment method in the app. So either in Uber or in Uber Eats, which is how I personally use it. I do a small $10 pickup order in there. So just make sure that you have the Amex Gold as the method of payment. We also have 120 in dining credits, which $10 monthly to either Five Guys, the Cheesecake Factory, Goldbelly, Wine.com, or the one that most people use it for, which is Grubhub, because that really essentially means you can use it anywhere.
Yeah.
And I think I mentioned this in our last episode, but if you have Amazon Prime, they give you free Grubhub Plus status. So you can stack those two things together. It gives you a little discount when you're ordering through Grubhub. And so then if you're using your credit and you're getting a discount, you can usually get more food for that $10 credit.
Be sure to Google Amazon Prime and Grubhub, and you will be able to find it to link those. Because I feel like I didn't know about that for way too long. I don't know when it started, but it definitely took me a while to realize. And so then I just Googled for it, found it, and linked the accounts.
Yeah, and I never saw it anywhere. I just saw it randomly advertised at the bottom of my membership page in Amazon Prime. And whoever goes to their membership page, I was like trying to add a payment method or something. And I was like, wait, what is this? Like, it wasn't something that they push or advertise very well. And I don't know why not. I think anytime you can get like status matches from one company that you're already paying for to another one that you're not is like the best way to go. So
yeah, that was quietly rolled out at some point. So you may, if you are familiar with the dining credits, the main thing to notice that's gone, before you could use it at Shake Shack. So that's where Five Guys comes into play. They kind of switched out burger joints, and now it's Five Guys instead of Shake Shack, which for me, I'm good with. I like Five Guys a lot. I think it's probably better for people in some regions of the country. I mean, Five Guys is pretty everywhere at this point, I feel like.
I have a Five Guys way closer than a Shake Shack. If I was to go to Shake Shack, I'd have to drive 45 minutes. It's not happening.
Yeah. I think there's more locations. So I think overall that one is a win for people.
Yeah.
And then Milk Bar, which I never took advantage of that. I have used the Shake Shack before. I used that one. I used Grubhub, Cheesecake Factory, and I even used Goldbelly one time, but I never did Milk Bar. So that one's not a big loss for me.
Yeah. Nope, not for me at all. Because $10 in order to order something, you're always going to end up spending more than that. I like to use my credits in a way where I don't have to spend anything outside of the credit. Maybe $1 or $2. Okay, the fun one that you took advantage of this morning, we have $7 a month to Dunkin' Donuts, which is $84 in Dunkin' credits. Mary Ellen, I feel like you have something to say.
Yes. Okay. This is a great pickup. All right. This is a great addition. A lot of people love Dunkin' coffee. I feel like you're either like a Starbucks coffee or Dunkin' coffee. One or the other. They're a little polarizing.
Dunkin' coffee is nasty.
Hey guys, we're going to get right back to the rest of this episode, but before we do, we have a request.
Look, if you've ever gotten any value from this show and you want it to continue to grow and to continue to serve you and have access to knowledgeable guests, if you could leave us a rating and a review if you're listening on Apple Podcasts or Spotify, that would be completely amazing.
These ratings and reviews go such a long way into attracting new podcast listeners and helping us bring guests on the show. It makes us so excited to hear how we are helping all of you reach your travel goals.
It really does. And if you're feeling up to it, take a screenshot of your review after you post it and share it to your own Instagram. And don't forget to tag us at Wonderland on Points Podcast. We would love to reshare it in our own stories.
Yes, we sure would. And if you haven't already, go ahead and leave that rating and a review right now. Okay, let's get back to the show. Okay. Well,
but I like their breakfast sandwiches.
Yes, I do too. I love a little bacon, egg, and cheese bagel.
Yeah.
That's probably what I'm going to get once a month for my $7 credit.
Yep.
The donuts, though, I grew up thinking
What?
Dunkin', when I was growing up, little kid, I thought Dunkin' Donuts, because we didn't have one in my hometown. You had to go somewhere to get it. It was so special. The strawberry frosted Dunkin' Donut was just, to me, the greatest thing in the world. And now I'm realizing, I mean, I'm sorry, Boston, but Dunkin' Donuts kind of sucks.
It is awful.
The donuts.
The
donuts
are awful. Come for me. Come for us. I guess we're both in agreement on this. I would not eat a Dunkin' Donut to save my life.
Okay, now I'll eat it. I'll eat it. But it's not. On my donut rankings, I probably give them a 3 out of 10.
I mean, part of the problem for me is that I already really am not a huge donut fan. It has to be like a really specialty, like, you know, like Voodoo Donuts in Universal Studios. I could get behind that donut. It was real good. But just like, I don't know, Dunkin', mm-mm.
Now, I'm a donut connoisseur, so I am team donut, okay? I'm not anti-donut like you are. So I was happy to see this credit come because I will still eat some donuts like I did this morning. But every time I eat them, I feel like I'm disappointed. And I'm like, this is really not good. I should have gotten the breakfast sandwich.
Heck yes, the breakfast sandwich are the way to go. I was
and
really
the refreshers. Do you get the Dunkin' refreshers?
I've never had a refresher.
Don't. It tastes like a crayon. It tastes like a crayon.
Okay. All right. I don't want that. Yeah, you know, I'll stick with the breakfast sandwiches. I've been a little disappointed by anything else I've ordered. I got hash browns last week, and I thought they were going to be crispy, like the Chick-fil-A hash brown coins. They were soggy.
Oh, come on. You thought Dunkin' was going to be Chick-fil-A? Come on. That was your problem right there.
I've never had them before from Dunkin'. I was like, oh,
I wish this was a Chick-fil-A
hash
credit.
brown coins.
Boy, do I wish this was a Chick-fil-A credit.
Oh, they should really get on that. Ooh,
but now that we've ripped on Dunkin' for all this time, I will see your $84 in Dunkin' credits and I will take them and use them. So have no fear. All right. So that is $84 of Dunkin' credits. Take them or leave them, but you can find something at Dunkin' that you like. You can find something.
Yes.
The next credit has come to be my favorite. It is a surprise favorite because when I saw that you now get $100 in Resi credits, and that is broken into 2, you get $50 the first half of the year and you get $50 the second half of the year that you can use in theory, through the Resi platform. I thought, this might be worthless. Like, will I ever be in a place to use the Resi platform? But what you should do is look on Resi, find a restaurant. A lot of big cities is where this can be used more so. However, in my town, which is not a big city, is medium sized, there are a couple restaurants on the Resi platform, one of which I had never been to, but apparently is well loved in the area. So I was excited to try it out. You don't actually have to book a reservation through Resi. Resi doesn't really come into play at all if the restaurant itself is affiliated with the Resi platform. I just showed up there one day, ate lunch with my girlfriend, and boom, the credit automatically popped up. You also don't have to spend $50 all at once. I went to lunch with her, spent like $25, and then I went out to eat with my husband, spent, more than $25 that time because we were paying for both of our meals, but boom, I used up my $50 total that I get from July through the end of December, I believe, and then it starts over January to June.
That's awesome. I have not gotten to use it yet because there are some restaurants down in St. Louis, but that's not somewhere we ever go, and it's far. But recently, one restaurant nearby has popped up on Resi. So we are making plans to go there, and it's nice that you don't have to do a reservation. We are not reservation people. We are floating through life kind of people. Oh, you're hungry? You want to go now? Let's do that. We cannot.
Spur of the moment.
We cannot. We would not. Even if we had a reservation, we probably wouldn't make it to the reservation on time. So I'm actually really excited about this one because this is also a restaurant that I've been wanting to try out. So it's nice. I mean, $50 is really about enough at this. I mean, this is a more expensive restaurant, but still $25 a person should mostly be covered by this credit. So I'm hoping more options become available in my area. but it's okay.
Yeah.
There's at least one.
This could be a fun credit for people when you're traveling. Maybe you go to
Ooh.
New York City, look on Resi. There's going to be a ton of restaurants
Ooh,
there, or
San
Washington, D.C.,
Diego.
San Diego. This could be a fun way to
Mm.
offset some of the money that you spend on food when you're traveling. And you know what's right next to the Manchester Grand? Speaking of your trip to San Diego, Cheesecake Factory. Literally right
Well,
beside it. So
perfect. We'll use our $10 Cheesecake Factory dining credit and then find a Resi restaurant. That'll be fun.
there you go. So those are kind of the new credits that you get, the Dunkin' and the Resi, that is a value of $184. The annual fee, keep in mind, went up $75, but you have $184 more in credits. So that is massive. You do still get, I don't know if we mentioned it in our last episode or not. I think we probably did. $100 in experience credits through the Amex Hotels collection if you book travel through the hotel collection when you stay 2 or more nights. So that's also something that your card, some benefits that you can get with this card.
Yep, absolutely. And now we get to talk about the most fun thing that I feel has happened recently that this card now grants you access to, which is the transfer partners technically have stayed the same, but there is an alliance that has been gained that allows you to do a pretty nifty multi-step transfer, okay? Because Alaska Airlines is now a partner with Hawaiian Airlines, and Hawaiian Airlines is a transfer partner of Amex, which means, and I've done it, so I can tell you that it works. Yes, you can transfer your points from Amex to Hawaiian, from Hawaiian to Alaska. And the redemptions on Alaska are crazy. And also, I have just helped one of our online internet friends, Stephanie, book her flights back from a group trip she's going on in Peru. I helped her get from Cusco to Lima and from Lima back to the States using her Amex points, transferred to Hawaiian, transferred to Alaska to get these 2 separate flights back to the States. I mean, she was going to have to pay something like $600 plus out of pocket, and the points prices were really reasonable for these flights. And awesome. This would not have been possible. She would really have not had a good points option prior to this merger at
love
all. Yeah. It's so exciting. Oh, and I mean, I mentioned it at the beginning, but that 7,500 point flight I was talking about was
thanks to PetSmart and Rakuten.
Thank you, PetSmart. Thank you, Rakuten. Thank you, AMEX Gold, because I got my flight home from St. Kitts, which is where we're going for whoop whoop Mary Helen's 40th birthday. It's gonna be so amazing. It's gonna be so amazing. And that flight home, $400 plus cash. But no, 7,500 points. American Airlines flight booked through Alaska because that is a partner-operated flight. Like, there's award availability through Alaska on the American's flight, but you had to get your points from Amex to Hawaii, from Hawaii to Alaska.
Which sounds intimidating, but you actually found it pretty instant and pretty easy, correct?
I did. Now, I had to do some Googling. You are going to have to do some Googling because I was confused. I was like, I don't see a button for this. Where's the button for this? I got them to the first place. I got them to Hawaiian. And then I was like, what do I do now? You have to literally physically go to a landing page of the merger between the two airlines. And it's all on that landing page. And you can find that just by Googling for it. I think I ended up finding the link in a Point Sky article. It was like, here's the page you go to do the transfer. I was like, thank you, Point Sky. So for beginners, I feel that this would be pretty intimidating, but realistically, it did not take that long and it wasn't that hard. So, and the points did show up like right away. And then I booked my flight right away and it was so exciting.
Yeah, Alaska is in the World Alliance, as
Mm-hmm.
far as the big alliances go for airlines, the One World Alliance. But what we really love is that they give us access, like you coming back from St. Kitts, to American Airlines, because it's hard to earn AA points
Mm-hmm.
with the big banks. They're not a partner of Chase, not a partner of Amex, not a partner of Capital One. It's very difficult to just get AA points. So we get a lot of those through the AA shopping portal or through getting one of the designated American Airlines credit cards. But now that we can get points over to Alaska with our Amex cards and Hawaiian, I think this is awesome. And I plan to book some flights pretty soon in that same way. I was looking at them today, and I'm pumped about it.
I am too, because I've spent quite a long time being really disappointed every time I see a great Alaska flight. I'm like, well, I don't know how I'm going to get those points. I can't really accumulate Alaska miles. And now it just feels like the world is open to me in
Yeah,
a
every
new
time I go
way.
on points, and I'm Googling, and it's always showing me flights, and it's the cheapest through Alaska because they're partners with a lot of, American Airlines,
Mm-hmm.
like we just mentioned. And when you're going to, say, Europe, remember with international flights, a lot of times the domestic carriers like American don't pass on as many fees and fuel surcharges to
Yep.
the consumer like the European airlines do if you're trying to get to and from Europe. And so booking American Airlines flights through Alaska, I feel like that is really opening up some lower out-of-pocket flights for people who aren't already in the AA game.
100%. I hope you guys are excited and not upset by the end of this episode, because I personally don't care what the annual fee on this card is. I don't think there might be a number. There might be a number that would come where I would be like, but I can't tell you what it is right now, because the value here is so massive to me. The accumulation of points is so easy with the 4X on groceries and the 4X on restaurants. With the Rakuten capabilities, you can seriously stockpile a absurd amount of points, and now those points go even farther because of this new merger. So I hope you feel hopeful and
Yeah.
excited.
If you would like to sign up for an Amex Gold Card, we definitely would very much appreciate you to use our referral link as your teacher in this points and miles world. That would mean so much to us. One thing to note, if you do get a link from us or elsewhere, Amex is notorious for their links, the same exact link, showing a different sign-up bonus depending on where you open it.
Yes.
So I had a friend, perfect example, my friend, Megan. Love her. Shout out to Megan. She's a travel nurse and she's amazing. Well, she was a travel nurse. She used my Amex Gold link. She opened it on her phone and it said 60,000. She opened it in a web browser that said 75,000 sign up bonus. And then she opened a third one, I think in an incognito browser on a computer, and it was the 90,000 point sign up bonus.
Yes.
So she saw all three, 60, 75, and 90. 90 is pretty much the most I've ever seen with a referral link. Occasionally people may get a mailer for 100,000, but that is not very common and super hard to find. If you're just signing up online at any given time, 90,000 is the highest that I've seen. So that's if you find that 90,000 offer, it's a great time to go for it. But don't give up. If you see 60, open the same referral link in different ways, and you're more likely to get a higher offer.
Absolutely. And just a reminder that Amex does have a pre-approval tool, which you can access through the referral link. So once the referral link, you pick the offer you like, and then you continue on in the process, they will tell you if you can get the card before they do a hard credit check. So I think that's a really, really nice kind of extra little added benefit there.
And one final thing to note about Amex, they are great with retention offers. I have gotten an Amex Gold retention offer after I kept the card for 1 full year and my annual fee posted to the card. I got online to the chat feature. You do not have to call them. You can do it all through the chat feature. It's best to do it on a laptop, maybe not on your phone, although I'm sure it works on your phone too, but I've done it through a laptop. And I said, hey, I'm not sure that this card is worth it for me anymore. I'm very familiar with the benefits, but I don't think this card is working for me. I am considering canceling it. Is there a retention offer that you can give me? And I did secure one for the AMEX Gold after my first year. I didn't go for one this year. I maybe should have tried. I think sometimes I have heard of people getting it consecutive years in a row. I don't know. I didn't ask for one this year. Maybe I should have. I will ask for one next year, knowing that I didn't get one this year. I'm going to go ahead and ask again next year if they have a retention offer and see what they say.
Heck yes. Do you remember how many points it was?
I think it was 20,000 points. I
That's
could be
great.
wrong, but
you were going to keep it anyways.
I was going to keep it anyway. It's like 20,000 points after you spend $3,000 in 3 months. That was fine. I love a little mini sign-up bonus. I feel like with the Amex Gold Card, I get basically a sign-up bonus every year through just the ability to earn Rakuten points. In my mind, that's like a whole sign-up bonus worth of points every year with this card. So to me, this is my number one favorite card. It gets an A+ in value. And I don't know. What questions do you guys have? Let us know. We could answer it on a future Wondering Wednesday. We're going to be digging into some of your questions. So if this episode has spurred some questions, please email us, Mary Ellen and Joe at wonderlandonpoints.com, and we will dig into it for you.
Yes, we will. Thank you for joining us today, and we'll see you here next time. Bye. If you enjoyed this show today, please consider writing us a review or clicking 5 stars wherever you listen to your podcasts. And please subscribe and follow along so that you never miss an episode.
You can follow the podcast on Instagram or YouTube at Wonderland on Points Podcast. You can find me on Instagram at Family Travel for the Win with the number 4.
And you can find me on Instagram at Points to Wonderland.
If you're thinking about getting a new travel rewards credit card, consider using the links in our show notes. Using our links helps to support us and keep our podcast going so we can provide you with all the latest tips and tricks when it comes to traveling on points.
And if you aren't sure which card is right for you, shoot us an email at wonderlandonpoints@gmail.com, and we would be happy to walk you through a free card consultation. That's also a great place to send us all of your comments and questions. Thank you so much for joining us, and we will see you here next time.